Hello, my friend. I imagine that this video finds you in this perfectly imperfect moment where you are making yet another bold choice, one to genuinely live your current step of reality in the midst of seeming chaos, changes, big and small, inside and out. Whether you've been choosing to make a lot of sweeping changes in your own life, or you are simply within the experience of this world, this meets you at the precise moment to share the following message. Consider this an invitation or a call to give yourself the dignity of your current transformation. Oh, that's a spicy one. To give yourself the dignity of your current transformation. Transformation sounds wonderful because we often think about the end point when we have the wings, when we have the new exoskeleton, the new shiny skin. During the transformation itself, it can be full of viscera and goop and unknowns. And when you're in the middle of transformation, one of the wisest things I heard is that's not the time to judge it. It's the time to simply take each next iterative step. And I'm imagining if you're watching this video, you are in the transformation. Like this would be meeting you in the delivery room. You're doing the transformation. Hello, we are in it. And so I'm sharing with you a few key things that, once again, I imagine are going to be of deep assistance to you at this time, because it is such a bold thing to transform the way I'm envisioning you are choosing to transform right now. And while it may not look like the most graceful transformation, from my perspective, I fully imagine that you have everything, every single thing you require to fully, successfully, and thrivingly not only make it through this, but give yourself the fullest capacity and dignity for this experience. Because this is a transformation unlike any other. I would go so far as to say this kind of transformation appears to me to be the kind where you're allowing yourself to go the deepest and the farthest that you have yet. And that's very profound. Because many times when we undertake that layer, that leveling of transformation, this may mean the peeling back of seemingly foundational structures that we once externally relied on to define ourselves and our sense of well-being. When a, let's say, master level Zen master martial artist is moving through a battlefield, you might imagine that much of the time they are moving with precise energy. Sometimes they simply move one side or another to, let's say, dodge a blow. And then when they do strike, it is with exactly the amount of energy and efficiency to knock the blow. In the same way, when you begin to engage in your version of flow-based living, it is neither an overexertion of action, nor is it a collapse of full passiveness. It is the way of being actively passive, passively active, the middle way. I think sometimes of mercury, how it is appears to be a liquid and a metal all at once. It is very, let's say, shape-shifty. And I envision you connecting to your world in this way, or let's just say it appears that the transformation that we're talking about right here is directly connected to shifting from structures that would once be very confining for you into a more inner-based stabilization and fulcrum of grounding that would allow you to move more adaptably in your life so that you find yourself more, let's say, effortlessly connecting exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be, exactly with who you need to connect with. Many times in our human lives, we get, let's say, attached to our story of who we are. This is my body, this is my job, this is my person, this is my pet, this is the family. And the thing about getting attached to the story is when the story shifts, and I say when, because it is, from my experience, inevitable, change is inevitable in this reality. And so one way or another, the story shifts. And it's not about fearing the shift, but it's about being able to meet your life with a fully open heart, with as little bit of attachment to how those things must look, and more importantly, with as little attachment as possible to what those things mean about you. Because many people go, this is my relationship and it means that I'm loved. Or this is my job and it means that I'm valuable and powerful. Whereas another way of looking at it is, I am love, and that love is reflected to me through my beautiful relationships. I am versatile and skilled, and that is reflected to me through this job. But if the job shifts, it doesn't mean you are any less versatile and skilled. What it simply means is that energy, the expression of energy, has been returned to you, and you can go, now what? When the children grow out of the house, it is not that you as a parent are any less valuable, but now that energy is returned to you, and you're like, oh, I feel like tending to and nurturing to something new. Now what? And so we don't need to, let's say, place our identity in a rigid structure, but remember that we are just playing and dancing through this beautiful experience of life. And the more we realize that everything is really a lot more fluid, or dare I say, light and sound, vibrational based, than maybe our minds might fully conceptualize, the more that we are able to meet shifting times with equanimity. Not from disconnection or attempting to hide or block out what's happening, but from a place of truly being connected within yourself and who and what you are. Now, if that sounds like an endeavor, I would say that really depends on your perspective of endeavor. I have found it a lot more energy effective to operate from the fulcrum than I have from attempting to build up stories that prop up an idea of who I am, only to have those collapse and then need to find myself again through rebuilding a story. I have found it a lot more effective to be seated within myself, and then I can interface and experience fully and with a lot of enjoyment the story of my life. You can experience the story of your life without mistaking or pretending that the story of your life is the source of your power. Because you are your own source of empowerment that is assisting in cultivating the expression of story around you. And you could look at the story as the symptoms of, let's say, what you're cultivating. And for many of us, not just in this, let's say, one experience, but across all the experiences that you've had. And not just across all the experiences that you've had, but since, from my perspective, we're collective, across all the experiences we've all had. Boy, we're diving in deep with this one. The thing about this message is it's not shared with an intent that you receive it and simply view yourself as in a powerful transformation and then go on doing the same things unless the same things delight you. This is meeting you as a present moment opportunity to genuinely be here now, engage yourself in all of your perfect imperfection, to take a moment and look And then invite yourself to now take your next now step in life. If you like, I'm going to share with you, let's say, a bit of impromptu poetry that I imagine reflects this. And this is part of my own journey, but I get the sense it may resonate with you as well. The invitation is to connect now in this moment, in all of our perfect imperfection, with every part of ourself that feels seen and that wants to be hidden, with every part of ourself that feels regret and shame, and every part of ourself that feels pride and joy. All the things left unsaid and unaccomplished. Yes, that too. To all the beautiful parts of you that you are proud of. Yes, and that too. To the parts of you that feel longing, that don't know what they're doing, that feel angry at things in the world, that feel angry at yourself or others. Yes, and that too. To the beautiful, divine parts of you that glow in radiance and wisdom. Yes, and that too. To the animalistic, visceral, primal, dark parts of yourself that you don't even know if you'd fully control if you let them loose. Yes, and that too. To all the neutral parts of you, from here and there, in between, seen and unseen. Yes, and that too. Because we're not waiting for a new moment to say yes to our life now. The invitation is to say right now, whatever way we are, in whatever clothing we're wearing or not wearing, in whatever way our hair is, in whatever way is finished or unfinished, right now, the invitation of life beckons and offers itself to you. And the invitation is simply this: to be here in this present moment with the entire story that you've had until this point, and all the things you know, all the things you don't know, anything that you're uncertain about or certain about, and to bring them all into this moment, to look at them and say yes, and this too. And now I take this step. Because we're not waiting for a perfect moment to take whatever the current step is. Because if whatever you're envisioning doesn't feel like the time to, let's say, take the step for now, then that's an invitation to go, then what now? Then what now? And you can give yourself full permission to align with that step. This is part of the invitation of the transformation, because we've shifted beyond waiting till things were perfect to understanding that the perfection was indeed a story and a bit of a paradox, because the perfection is really only ever found in the perfect imperfection, implementation of experience in the moment. The moment as it is perfect. And yet, it indeed invites you to add your layer of expression to its perfection. In its imperfection, it invites a space for "and now what?" And you are the answer to that. And it's not so much that your answer is here to change the world, but inevitably, through you living that, you change the world. And if and when challenges happen, you simply meet them in the moment and go, "And now what?" And when beautiful, positive things happen, you simply meet them in the moment and go, "And now what?" Because everything is simply life continuing to unfold. And without either grasping on to what's beautiful or pushing away from what appears to not be beautiful, you are simply dancing the ever-expanding dance of life. And to make that very, very grounded for you means you're giving yourself permission to take whatever actionable, viable step you can right now to live your best approximation of what you most want to live. And then I take this step. Because otherwise, I imagine we just torment ourselves with dreams that we never allow ourselves to take flight. And I know that you're complete with that. I simply know it because you're watching this. You wouldn't be seeing this if that wasn't true for you. This is what I am imagining. Yeah. So well done, transforming to this level. The transformation, the dignity of the transformation is understanding this from my perspective, my friend. It's not about rushing through the transformation to get to the end goal. It's understanding that how you meet the transformation is the resulting end goal. The end goal is the symptom of how you move through the transformation. So I invite you to look at this stage as the holy material it is. If you viewed yourself as the alchemist, bringing forward gold, and in your laboratory you had the materials and they were coagulating and moving and vibrating and all this, this is a transformation, but it is not that you are waiting for the end result. It is your attention and presence, and through the way that you lovingly guide it, not through the ends justify the means, but my means result in the ends. The way that I am living day to day is what is crafting my eternal tomorrow. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter the story elements, whether you live in a mansion, whether you're living in your car, wherever you are, your resonance can be the one in which you are thriving. It may take different steps depending on where you find yourself at this time, but wherever you are, you have a pathway to thriving now. Not because tomorrow will be better, but because the way you continue to approach the present moment is radically shifted forever. May you give yourself the dignity of this transformation, whether it's a moment transformation, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, whether you've been transforming all your life, may you, my friend, give yourself the dignity of the fullness of this transformation, to really let yourself immerse into it, to view your life truly from the views of the alchemist's lab, that is understanding that whatever you are doing, whatever you have been doing, whatever your situation or circumstances represent everything required to transmute gold. And if and when you connect to the perspective where you see this, then you got it. And then you got it. And you do got it. Thank you, my friend, for this potent and profound conversation. I continue to imagine you in your most thriving way. I'm very grateful that we have these opportunities to connect, to reflect, and to really remember just how empowered we are, starting from within each of our fulcrums and then interconnecting in the most loving, resonant ways. If you would like further resources, they're in the description, including the flow book. You might check it out. And in all cases, appreciate you, my friend, and I look forward to our next conversation.